I smell disunity between our people, right? And the world is watching, right? Now, when we come across the other organizations like the Nation of Islam and we say black power, they say black power. When they say assalamu alaikum, we say assalamu alaikum. When we come across the Hebrews and they say shalom, we say shalom. If they say yahai shah, we say yahai shah, right? If we come to our grandmothers in their houses during grace and they say amen, we all say amen, right? Don't tell me about unity, right? Because we have to make a choice today on identity.
That's right.
Fallen humanity. Their job is to raise the fallen humanity. My Moor opponents have oversimplified their argument of who are the Moors to fit their religious beliefs, but not history, science, social science, methodology, and logic itself. My argument will explore these oversimplifications. An organized lie defeats a disorder, but to cure this paradigm, one must use the scientific method to make the truth organized to defeat the organized lie. We're not perfect. Are all our prophets perfect? But why do we make them perfect? The Moorish background, ethnic origins, and an overview of their historical impact. This is from Dr. Jose V. Pimenta Bey. He is a PhD, and he is one of Ali's men, and he is a great speaker and an intelligent person who the world respects. He outlines basically what the Moorish Quran says, and basically simplifying it, right? He draws an outline from Canaan to Moabite, who are the Moors, who are Moroccans, which is the modern name for the Moabite, to Moorish Americans, along with the phenotype type of olive skin and the statement we all have the same father and the mother. I assert that this statement is wrong and untrue, and it's causing divisions. And I'm going to do it by science. He also says, this quote, I'm just putting it from his book, which you should buy his book, Othello's Child. Othello, okay, that's fine. Othello's children, Othello is a fictitious person, and so his children must be fictitious. So if you want me to say it, I'm going to get it right. Right? So I'm going to talk about fictitious. If you want to correct me, don't play with me. The Circle 7 Holy Quran outlines the inhabitants of Africa, or the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. Let's do this all by science, because you're going to have to prove it with science, right? Not with your rhetoric and not with your speeches and your memorized, well-memorized indoctrination. You're going to have to prove it to black people with science.
Talk to him, Reggie.
Africa, Canaan, and Arabia. Canaan is not, and the Levant is not in Africa. There's the African mother continent. It broke off to the Sinai plate, to the Arabian plate. That's not Africa. There it goes. In this period, because you do science, right? In this particular period, the Cenozoic continental breakup produced several ribs, etc., etc., etc. The continental breakup occurred 65 million years ago. Humans were not on the planet. Just go fix that. Defining the admix, glossary of terms. This is from the glossary of genetic terms. Admixture arises when two previously isolated populations begin interbreeding. I hope you know where I'm going. I hope you know where I'm going, because I'm going. Let's just not go all the way back and try to decide everything in the world about evolution. Let's just talk about Homo heidelbergensis, a group of men that was in both Africa and went into Europe, right? Early archaic man. And when he was in Africa, he gave birth to the Homo sapiens. When he was in Europe, he gave birth to the Homo neanderthal. He also gave birth to this other archaic called the Denisovan, and then there's the hobbits. I hope y'all studied this. I hope y'all studied this. Okay, so here's a source right here. I translated it from Google Translate. Basically, the Homo heidelbergensis is 700,000 years ago. I translated it from German, so some of the stuff won't be. But that's okay because I have Chris Stringer. These are European. I'm sorry. These are Europeans, and guess what? They're Moors. Right? Europeans are Moors. We're going to show you how this works. Matter of fact, Sharif Bey said that the Caucasian is the amalgamated Moor. He said that, but he was right. And you asked me, why didn't I do anything or speak badly to the elder? First, we're trained not to do that. Second, he was correct. And he gave me what I wanted. These Europeans that I'm talking about, Chris Stringer, they Moors. Heidelbergensis, Homo rhodesian, that is what they call Heidelbergensis in Africa. There's my source. Look it up. Oldest human skull of Africa found in Canaan, 55,000 years ago. I thought I had a quote from Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Somehow that disappeared. But Dr. Wesley Muhammad and both Jose Pimenta Bey talk about the Africoid, and in the Africoid, it says, yet many Eurocentric Western scholars' treatments have attempted to de-Africanize the Moors and de-emphasize their connection to Africa. But after a critical interdisciplinary evaluation of Moorish identity, it is evident that the term Moor justifiably designates a phenotypical Africoid people or person with ancient links to both East Africa and Near Asia. So we're getting to this Asiatic person. And that's there right there in the Sinai plate and Arabia. We're going to get to that. Okay. So here we go. Behold the pale Moor. The new truth in genetic sequencing. Start Googling it. Just Google. Why did you bring your laptops and stuff? Oh, you don't need it because you're going to use a religious book on me. Not today. Savante Pabo, this Moor, he's a Moor. He says, what he did was, he sequenced the Neanderthal DNA, he sequenced the human DNA, and then he sequenced the Denisophan DNA, and he found out that they interbred. Oh, I'm sorry. Raising fallen humanity? That's fallen humanity. That's our destruction. I'm going to tell you why. Ancestors of modern humans interbred with extinct hominids, study finds. Carl Zimmer, New York Times. Recently, March 17, 2016. I know y'all don't read the papers. Right? The best explanation for these patterns, I'm just going to skip over this. Just because of time, let me see if I can do this. Neanderthals, I'm going to listen to this more for a second.
And one question that you may then want to ask is, what happened with that? Did we mix or not? And the way to ask that question is to look at the Neanderthal that comes from Southern Europe and compare it to genomes of people who live today. So we then look to do this in pairs of individuals, starting with two Africans, looking at the two African genomes, finding places where they differ from each other, and in each case ask, what is the Neanderthal? Does it match one African or the other African? We would expect it to be no difference because Neanderthals were never in Africa. They should be equal, have no reason to be closer to one African than when modern humans came out of Africa sometime after 100,000 years.
Neanderthals were not in Africa. Oh, that's going to be a problem for you.
If one then mixed with each other there, then those modern humans that became the ancestors of everyone outside Africa carried with them this Neanderthal component in their genome for the rest of the world.
Oh, they mixed outside of Africa, in the Middle East, Canaan, and then created all the other races. That's how it happened, basically around a period of starting about 60,000 years ago. Modern human goes out into the Levant, and then, or he also tries to go out during the Arabia side. Ultimately, at some point, they met the Neanderthals, and they mixed. And this happened out of Africa. Neanderthals were never in Africa. Oh. Evaluating Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA from the genomes of Malaysian individuals. This is 3/16/2016. They talk about modern humans, all non-African populations. Canaanite, derived 2% of their ancestry from Neanderthals, whereas subsequent levels of Denisovan ancestries, 2 to 4, are only found in oceanic populations. Although low levels of Denisovan ancestry may be more widespread, recently catalogs of. My point is, the Neanderthals, anything out of Africa has 2% Neanderthal. What does that mean? 5 matings for moderns, Neanderthal. Science 18, March 2016. I know y'all didn't read this for this debate, because you're going to have to pull a rabbit out the fez for this one. So, Neanderthals, it says that Neanderthals are a second kind of archaic human called Denisovans, met and mated. The researchers conclude that if you are East Asian, you have 3 different Neanderthals in your family. Europeans and South Asians have 2, Malaysians only 1. And African ancestors who did not mate with Neanderthals have none. I understand. There is a slide from Harvard University. You can take that down. The not-so-secret life of our inner Neanderthal. I'm not talking about the African. I'm talking about the Canaanite. I'm talking about everybody in that area. Today, so here we go. Behold, the Africoid, the Moor origin and origin of the destruction of black civilization. Here are the African, there are the non-Africans, and those non-Africans admixed with the Moors, those non-Africans interbred with the Neanderthals, and they produced the Caucasoid, the Northeast Asian, the Arctic Asian, American, and Southeast Asia, the New Guinea and Australian, and definitely the Arab. I just made a mistake and didn't put that down. But definitely the Asiatic man, it's definitely the Asiatic black man, but he's non-African, he's mixed with the Neanderthal. And the Africans, they're not mixed with the Neanderthals. There was none in. So here are the great Moorish civilizations. You like to claim all of these people and say, we're all Moors. Everybody was a Moor. Yes, if you was out of Africa and you bred with Neanderthals, you are a Moor. And there you go. The Neolithic Anatolia, Neolithic Syria, Canaan, Elam, Mesopotamia, India. Shout out to Ishmael Bey and his India stuff. He's admixed Moor with Neanderthal. Ugandan, Yellow River, Best New Guinea, Americas, etc. I gotta move. Behold, the Africoid in Canaan. Skull discoveries suggest location where humans first had sex with Neanderthals. Skull found in northern Israel, Cain in western Galilee. Cain. Oh, there's the Mana Cave. I'm just going to go through just some clips, and they're recently dated. Human Neanderthal cohabitation in the Levant. It talks about the earliest skulls. Now we're going to unpack the biblical record. Now these are reconstructions of the Moroccan man. Here's a Moroccan man before he left Africa. He interbred with the Neanderthal woman out. But no, she their sister. Don't be disrespecting their sister. I mean, There's Israel, who's the African who went into Canaan, and that's the sister. Interbred, I found a dark-skinned Neanderthal to help the case. So here are the places where they interbred. Basically, there you go. The biblical record, using only as oral history, Goliath was an admixture Neanderthal. He was a Nephilim. Why does the Bible talk about Nephilims? What are they really talking about? They're doing early paleontology. They're doing early oral history. Goliath was intermixed with a Neanderthal. Have y'all figured that out? Goliath. Interesting about Goliath. Anyway, here's from the Bible. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, etc., etc. You can read that. I'm not going to read all the Bible stuff. Those are the biblical records. So the Bible is talking about Nephilims, but the Bible is really an evolution document. You just read it wrong. Oh, the story of the sons of God interbreeding with the daughters of men is an Anak story recorded in the Bible. Descendants of Anak were Canaanites. Goliath was a Canaanite. There's the Neanderthal range. The biblical record, again, King James Bible, and they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land, I'm reading, you know how they say read, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants, cannibals. And all the people we saw in it are men of great stature. The Nephilim, the admixed human being. There was also, we saw the Nephilim, Neanderthal, admixed human being in Canaan. The sons of Anak are part of the Nephilim, and we became like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so were in their sight. The biblical and archaeological record is similar, so Africoid, admixed Moors record includes admixed. This one is interesting from this Bible source. While Noah and his sons were 100% human, we are not told the same about the wives of his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So in the Bible, these people are human, but their wives carry the Nephilim seed. We didn't know it was the Neanderthal seed. The sons of God, the daughters of men, why the world need to be wiped out, the extinction of the Nephilim. More on the Bible, just for the record, you could read it. Admixed males sterile, DNA passed on females of both hybrid and human females. I hope you was listening to Dr. Maj's presentation because she was doing science, right? So here we have a problem where Neanderthal women are admixing in Canaan and giving birth, but we will probably have a problem with human women mixing with Neanderthal because their pelvic is too small and they can't get out them big babies. So we're going to move on. Oh, the Neanderthal genome linked to medical and phenotypical characteristics. Oh, the Neanderthal gave the human in Canaan phenotypical characteristics. The Africoid, that's why they're not African. They're Africoid. Moors, the red head and blue eyes. I said that. That wasn't attributed to the title. But Neanderthals contribute to hair and eyes of modern man. This is an unlocked secret. Sure, all mammals in the sun develop melanin in their skin and they have different shades of melanin, but that doesn't explain the hair and the eyes. They come from Neanderthal DNA. You didn't know that. Neanderthal human sex bred light skins and infertility. Again, so we have an issue of skin now. Some attributes of skin or variant type of skin, like the olive skin, connected somehow to the Neanderthal.
20 minutes.
Caucasians are the amalgamated Moors. You heard Sharif Bey. Amalgamate to mix, to merge, or to make a combination, to blend, unite, combine, to amalgamate two companies. Yeah, the Neanderthal and the Homo sapiens sapien. and the resulting people are the amalgamated Moors. Hard fossil evidence, you can do that, Wikipedia. Important study that rebuts arguments of Neanderthals in Africa. They actually, doing the scientific method, what we do, Dr. Mahad, is we go and find a report that tries to debunk a theory that we have, right? So and guess what, it failed. But you can read that. Tracing the root of modern humans out of Africa using 225 human genome sequences from Ethiopians and Egyptians. They wanted to know what Africans came out and intermixed. So there's this big argument, did the Ethiopians go through the Arabian plate, or was the ancient people of Kemet? Well, this study says it's the ancient Egypt people of Kemet. All of this you can look up. I'm talking to the people in our audience that use the scientific method, that want to study, right? That I respect all their religions, but who want to see for themselves, because I'm answering some questions about. Okay, so I got to move on. I wanted to talk about language, did they speak or not in Canaan, but I want to just say, original people of Africans have no Neanderthal DNA. Your people, ancient Africoid Canaanites, Moabites, Moors, and so-called Moorish culture have Neanderthal DNA. I'm also talking about your Native American peoples. I see you, Wichita Moors. You think that you just walked from Africa or Canaan without connecting to the Denisovans. No, you're admixed. So there's your whole Bible story, and this is the great admixture. And guess what? We have to ask some theological questions. Why would God, we're so religious, admix their people and prophets with Neanderthals? Is your God or your prophet amalgamated, Moor, admixed, is the one that you believe in actually a Neanderthal? See, science was trying to break this out, but you'll see something in Time magazine about God, Jesus, and the Neanderthals. I'm just doing it for you. Quranic records, we know that they're from Ad. We're not leaving them out. African scientists and thinkers now have to change their origin stories of the other phenotypical groups of human races that are mistakenly called races. Religion can't change the Noble Drew doctrine of origins is wrong. I don't care how much religion you're going to do. If you don't get up here with science, you lose. The Asiatic black man is not the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet, earth, God of the universe. I'm going to tell you right now. See, I love the Nation of Islam because they gave themselves out because they wrote Message to the Black Man. Right? They love our people. They said this Asiatic black man sounds good, but this might be a sinking ship. So they can continue their religion. Just be black. Just like Khalid Muhammad said, before anything else, I'm black. He came from a school. I know that you have adept studies and you study esoterical. You better bring some science today. The Yakub story dies today. The admixed Neanderthal and Homo sapiens, called by many names, Nephilim and now Moor, and his offspring of phenotypes is the culprit to the destruction of African civilization. The Diop Grimaldi man's theory today is revised because he couldn't deal with admixed. Maybe because our great elder had a marital issue. He just couldn't deal with that. But it is revised today with modern genetics. And also, he didn't have the information. The Francis Cress Wilson theory of white origin of albinos must be shelved today. Okay, so let's get to the Americans. So here is the Y DNA haplogroup, right? And then you see over there how they originate and how they're labeled. They emerge first in Africa, then they emerge over there in Canaan and the rest of the place, and then they walk themselves later to Africa as the Berbers, the North African Mediterranean. They intermix. It's called admixing again with the African population. And then you see the J1 Semitic, right? So we see this walk that DNA don't lie. Better have a DNA slide up there. So here we go with this slide of the different periods of of how people became people in different skins and different races. I'm sorry, behold the pale Moor again. I just have to put out that Neanderthal range. Why am I doing this? Because the African on the continent is the human, the 100% Homo sapiens sapiens, the maker of us all. And we now, to justify European insanity, have been sent into an admixed hell where we are all to be admixed. And all we want to do, Professor, is save these people right here who were the first humans, who gave us humanity. That's what we want to save, Africa and their people, because in 1,000 years there will not be an African. Little, I don't know what you call them, but these people 1,000 years ago, they'll be talking about their African ancestors with pride, but we have theologies that murder African people.
That's right.
Slave rule. Here's the slave rule. We are Moroccan Americans. Okay, well, the slave rule is the 1501 to 1867. It's beautiful, right? Yes, they came from Senegambia, Sierra Leone, coast, Brighter Benin, Biafra, West Central Africa. I don't see no ships leaving from Morocco, right? So the largest population of who we are come from West Central Africa. Here's a chart, I don't have too much time. You don't see on this side, it says North and Central, this is the maps. We are North and Central, we are more like West and Central Africa. That's where we come from. That's DNA. Again, I want to talk about the Denisovin. This is the Denisovin map of where the Denisovins and the Neanderthals interbred. And I just want to say, Ivan Van Sertima is a great scholar, but them Olmec heads, most likely they were mixed, admixed people, not direct Africans. We have to revise that, Easter Island. So if you want to debunk me, you still have to use the scientific method. You still have to use classifications. You have to use phenotype, genetic scholarship, published work, Asian. You have to explain the root of the Asian, Indian, Arab, and Caucasian, and why they did not emerge in Africa. That DNA, that Canaanite DNA. Now, I wanted to say real quick, I don't have a lot of time. How much time do I have? I have 12 minutes. Okay, so I'll get through some of this. In 5 minutes grace. Good. Wonderful. So I'll get back to this. You better bring me a Moabite earlier than 6,500 years. I'm sorry, this Moabite looks like who I'm talking about. You better bring me a fossil find. I want to tell you something else about the Moabites. We know much about the Moabites that we could, but we do know their civilization ended in 582, when Moab became part of the Babylonian Empire. That's when the Moab civilization ended. So it's interesting. Okay. We also know that the people who took the land was the Nabateans. Shout out to Dr. Ali Muhammad. I know he's a little upset. I know he's working his computer right now to bang me up because he's the only person who's an Islamic scientist. The rest of you is like he said before, you Islamic believers.
Reggie, don't forget, Reggie. One of your teachers here. Dr. Jeffries in the building.
From the eyes of Rome, let's just deal with the people that they say the Moorish Empire. Well, the Moorish Empire, you know, they had gods. They called the Dimari, right? And then we're going to look at the Moabite gods, Ashtar. And then we're going to look over here of Berber and other African people who were beginning to be admixed. But we're showing this to show lineage. Keys of civilization. Instead of finding ancient Moabites, we find ancient Kemet. Oh, someone said that the Asians or the Canaanites have the key to civilization. They took it. All of this Kemet and Moab, these are artifacts found in Moab. Oh, Mur. I know someone that likes to talk about the Nurs, the Nars, right? And that some Moors say that Nurmur was a Moor. Okay. First the fighting catfish, first unified north-sud of Kemet. Oh, this is Chemosh. This is a Moabite deity, an important one. The subduer, the fish god. Oh, we go back to the normal play palette, and guess what we find? Plagiarism. We see the Moabites making their god Chemosh out of an African man named Nurmur. Nurmur was an African man, and the admixed Moabites are taking an African man and making him a god. But you got a problem with black, right? That's a black African that you borrowed in your philosophy, because guess what? You brothers are us and sisters. Prove it. There it goes. Today, there is the Chemosh in 9th BC, and this is 3100 BC. You do the math. Oh, Islam. I'm so sorry. Here you have Aluza, Al-Lat, and Manat. But they are so similar to Kemetic deities, a Set, it could be Het Heru. Where do y'all get them 8? And that's still happening out of Africa. Who has the keys to civilization? We do, because we study. So we can walk through history, and we can walk how the Muslims or the Arabs or those admixed groups of people marched their way into Africa. And so I laid it all out for you to study. The important thing about it is none of them are talking about Moab. None of them are saying that they came from Moab. What they're saying is they're Muslim. They derive from the Prophet Muhammad, from his lineage. So our people in Americas are not Moroccans. We just sentenced to an admixed hell. They're the Y haplogroups of the world, and you see how this is genetics and science. You can work that out. So there's some other things I want to say. The Israelites, because I heard the Moors and the Israelites are getting together, but the Israelites say that you all had an incestuous relationship. You all don't have no problem with them, right? You have a problem with us. The African from Kemet recorded their occurrences with the Canaanites and the Asians, with the admixed. That's what they look like in the records, on the temple walls, coming into Africa. We have a full list of the contact. Can't do all of that today. And then we even search, where do we find Moab? Is Moab even mentioned? We know Canaan, and we know, Pharaohs gave permission to the Moabites. Yeah, okay, fine. We go and we search to find Moab in our glyphs, and this is for y'all. Y'all can record it. Moab is right over here. Yeah, it was conquered. It's conquered by Africans. Here we have a city, Dibon, which is an important city in, there it goes here. Okay, it's there. I have to go and look for it. That's primary. You better show me some artifacts. Show me some artifacts when you talk, all right? I'll believe you then. Again, Moab, and here is Moab in Kemet material in Moab. They all look like people from Nile Valley. Oh, there's Tahuti there. And here's this interesting piece I'm going to talk to. Oh, the Beilu. Lord Alba, he loves to talk about this. This is weird. This shows we're getting permission from the pharaohs. That's fine. Show it to me on Luxor Wall, on Karnak Wall, and I'll believe it. Otherwise, I believe there's some great artists connected to the mystery schools wrote that. Here we have, over here is, I think, Canaan right here. So we know Kemet knows all about Kemet. Kemet knows all about Moab. Oh, you see this right here? This is in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. How many people went with me to the Metropolitan Museum of Art? And I showed you this right here? Well, guess what? This right here is Phoenician. They taught the Phoenicians how to write. They borrowed our material. This is our stolen legacy. Oh, let's do Carthage. Ankh, crescent. It's coming from Kemet, Ankh and crescent. Right? See it? Better show me some artifacts. Here's early Islam. Right? Here is basically a salat, and here is a crescent circle. This is important. This stone right here is because this is where the god Chemosh basically murders 1,000 Israelites. Since y'all want to build some unity, I mean, you can. But it's there right there. Chieftain dragging before him Chemosh and Kerosh, I settled 3 men. What it says, and I took from there Yahweh, dragging them before Chemosh, and the king of Israel had built Jahaz. He dwelt there while he was fighting against me. But Chemosh drove him out before me, etc. You can read that. There's Dibon that I talked about right there. What am I missing? So here's the bows. Oh, this is more by goddess Asetereth. This is a Canaanite goddess. Looks very similar to Kemet. Here's another Moabite goddess. Oh, looks like Heru. Oh, shoot. What did I do? So then we have, we have to show some feathers. That wouldn't be right if I did not. How much minutes do I have?
3 + 5 minutes.
Okay, great. So, so I do want to say, okay, it's probably, okay. Okay. Oh, I wanted to make this point. Dr. Jose V. Piamenta Bey, very shrewd scholar. Is he here today? Is he here? Okay. He made this argument that, you know, the, one of the Islamic groups was Moabites. He definitely attempted to do that. I just wanted to say that this article right here is argued in this paper, trying to see if they were the biblical descendants of Moab in the 12th century. The Almoravids are called Moabites. And so this person took it upon himself, this scholar, you know, because that's how you get a PhD, right? You argue a problem, right? And he basically found out, he looked at the genealogy and he basically found out that they had no connection. You can read the paper. Now, the Africans who converted to Islam were not Moabites. So here, the African gives themselves, well, at least the problem is Arabs or Arabized people are telling the story, but they at least say the first of the kings who ruled over it was these people, and these 14 kings all died before the coming of Islam. So we know that African people were around river valleys. So chapter 47 of the Holy Quran, the inhabitants of Africa, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan, old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa. His father Ham, the descendants were second. Then came the word Ethiopia. And then my opponents must show that only Africans that are in the New World are descendants of Morocco and descendants of Moabites. They have to show that here again is the slave roots again. Conversations about Columbus. Interesting, Columbus' diary says one thing, but his message to the queen says another thing. So two different things. He was excited when he was writing in his diary, but when he got to the king, the queen of England, when he got to Europe, then to Spain, he made another determination. He basically said that they look like Native Americans, not Muslim. I won't go into that. So I just want to, I think basically I want to close with asking my opponents, just having an off-the-cuff conversation with y'all, just between us.